And as we have been mentioning, in the aftermath of that deadly terror attack in Anantnag, the government is taking no chances. It has tightened the screws on the rules. Security forces, in fact, have been asked not to deviate at all from the standard operating procedure. Remember, this bus violated the standard operating procedure. So the Home Minister there making a very brief statement and saluting the bravery and the determination by the other pilgrims. Remember, the pilgrimage will not be disrupted whatsoever. It will not be called off. The Amarnath Yatra will not be called off despite the attack that was made on innocent, unarmed Amarnath pilgrims last night when their bus was attacked, when the terrorists started firing upon them indiscriminately. And, despite the attack that was made on police bunker and at a police, picket near Kanabal, the Amarnath Yatra will still continue no matter what. And that just goes on to show how determined the Amarnath pilgrims are there, to how, their faith has not been shaken and they remain undeterred.
Silent mode mein rakhiye phone.
Sir, clearly a dastardly terror attack, but worse is probably the politics that has come.
It's really dastardly, cowardly act by the enemies of the nation, enemies of the mankind. No religion can accept such brutal act on people who have gone on a pilgrimage. But unfortunately it has happened. We condemn it. And there is no question of leaving those people who are responsible for the same. The state government have ordered an inquiry. Let us wait for the same. At the same time, the center and state together, they will be working together to give all the protection that is required to be given to the Amarnath Yatra, because one of the important yatras of the country. And this act of these terrorists have brought bad name even to Jammu and Kashmir also. And it is the duty of the pilgrims also to register well in advance and also follow the security guidelines that are issued from time to time by the authorities concerned. Because we are having a situation where our neighbor is aiding, abetting, funding, training terrorists, and then they have a declared policy of attacking innocent people. This is what is happening, and I only appeal to all. This is something, a terrorist activity. Terror has no religion. I appeal to all political parties not to politicalize this and not to try to score brownie political points. Attack happened, it has to be condemned by one and all, and the terrorists, they have to be brought to book, and the government is determined to do it.
Sir, while the Lashkar-e-Toiba has taken, and it's clear that they are behind the attack, how do you look at Congress Vice President instead trying to blame the government and saying that Modi government has to respond to this?
The point is, India has to respond, not particular person or a particular party or a government. These things happened earlier also, when other parties were in power. Let us not politicalize it, and let us do not appear to become small in the eyes of the people. I appeal to all parties, including Congress, which has ruled the country for long, and Kashmir has a background. It is not sudden that such thing happened now. It has been happening for some time. So we must all join together and curb this menace of Pak-inspired terror. And Lashkar-e-Toiba is a terrorist organization, and it is a Pakistani-inspired organization. That's everybody's knowledge. So let us not play politics in this.
Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh has called a meeting. What can we expect from such a high-review meeting?
I don't. It has to be reviewed, and whatever additional steps to be taken, they will be taken. Jammu Kashmir government have ordered an inquiry, and the Home Minister is reviewing the situation, and all steps that are needed to provide protection to the pilgrims, as well as to take action against the culprits of this mindless, brutal attack, that will also be pursued by the government with all the vigor that is required.
Rahul Gandhi has made a personalized attack on the Prime Minister, saying it's only the Prime Minister's responsibility. He should take responsibility for what's happened.
See, it's an immature, irresponsible political comment. We should speak as a nation, condemn as a nation, and then focus on taking action rather than scoring brony political points. Because that too, Congress cannot do this because Congress has been in power for most of these years, more than 50 years, and how the Kashmir issue is continuing all these years in everybody's knowledge. Then the counter question is, what is it you have done? Why you have not resolved the Kashmir problem when you are in power for 50 years? This government is only 3 years old. So let us not get into politics and let us not do injustice to the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are already suffering.
One final question. So the yatra will continue. That is the decision by the government. What is that message basically, sir? What is it trying to say?
Undeterred by these acts of these doctrinal acts, the government will make all preparations and yatra should continue. That will only send a positive message across the globe and also to the people across the country. Please follow the security guidelines, register yourself, and then you are safe, nothing to worry.
Thank you so much. So clearly the cabinet minister has now clarified, given a very strong statement here after this dastardly terror attack. With Sunil, Pooja Shali for India Today.
Okay, I'm going to go straight across now to National Affairs editor Rahul Srivastav. Rahul, while the unshakable faith and the determination of the remaining pilgrims is admirable, and while the nation mourns the loss of the 7 pilgrims, there are several questions that still need to be asked. Every precaution is now being taken, but why the lapse in the first place when there was unprecedented security cover given to the pilgrims and when there was intelligence information of this yatra being a terror target?
I think of one, yes, definitely faith triumphs over terror. Second, it is a determination also of the government of Jammu and Kashmir and the central government that the Amarnath Yatra, which is a symbol of perhaps how the state still dictates the terms as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. Lapse is one element that is being looked at. What top security officials are saying that all the elements involved in the terror attack are being pieced together, and the preliminary assessment is rather clear. The preliminary assessment is that the attack happened and the terrorists could succeed in the attack primarily because there was a serious deviation as far as the standard operating procedure for Amarnath Yatris is concerned. The Yatra, the bus was not registered. It took on its own to decide its own time of travel. The road opening parties were not ahead of it, and that is why the
Rahul, if I may just interrupt you right now. Okay, Yogi Adityanath there assuring the assembly that all necessary arrangements have been put in place. The extensive security arrangements that have been put in place for now the Kavadiya Yatra in the wake of the horrific terror attack that took place last night, in which 7 Amarnath pilgrims tragically lost their lives. In fact, an high alert has already been sounded, especially in the western parts of Uttar Pradesh, with the Intelligence Bureau also fearing that there could be an attempt to attack the Kavadiyas. So all necessary precautions being taken, with the Chief Minister personally supervising the security arrangements as well. That's because the face of Anantnag terror attack has also been revealed. It's Lashkar terrorist Ismail, who now has been unmasked. The man on your screen is Ismail, the Lashkar commander for South Kashmir. According to sources, he has been quite active in Kashmir for the last 3 years. And in fact, sources also say that Ismail, along with 3 other terrorists, were behind yesterday's dastardly attack. In fact, intelligence sources said 3 to 5 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists were involved in the terrorist attack on Amarnath Yatra. And these attacks comes just days after Lashkar-e-Taiba founder Hafiz Saeed's brother-in-law and the second-in-command of the Jamaat-ud-Dawa, Abdul Rahman Makki, exhorted attacks targeting Hindu shrines, targeting pilgrims as well. We're going to just play out the reaction of what Abdul Rahman Makki had said.
इन मंदिरों को, रामों, घनश्यामों, हनुमानों को, इन गंदे शिरकिया तसव्वुरात को, मुअतक़दात को भारत की धरती से मिटाकर उसको मुस्लिम हिंदुस्तान में बदलना है। ये पैगाम है, आपके नाम है।
Okay, so that's the news. According to the Kashmir police, it's the Lashkar-e-Taiba who was behind the terror attack last night on the Amarnath pilgrims who were in that particular bus. In fact, the mastermind being the Pakistani terrorist Abu Ismail. This particular bus that we were talking about that came under attack was preceded by 2 strikes at a police bunker at Botengo and at a police picket. And that's when there was indiscriminate firing on that particular bus. In fact, this bus did not really have the necessary papers, papers that were required, the registration that was required from the Amarnath Shrine Board. It did not have the police escort as well, and that's why perhaps it became a vulnerable target as well. 12 hours after the attack, the Amarnath Yatra, however, has resumed amid tight security. A fresh batch of pilgrims have already left for the remaining part of the Amarnath Yatra. Intelligence sources have told India Today that 3 to 5 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists were involved in last night's attack. And as we just told you and showed you, in fact, it was Ismail of the Lashkar-e-Taiba who was, heading this group, and political parties, including the President Pranab Mukherjee, along with the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister, have together condemned the attack. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has also chaired a very important high-level meet, and he has also saluted the bravery and the determination exhibited by the remaining Amarnath pilgrims. The Amarnath Yatra that has not been called off, and 3,000 pilgrims having already left Jammu and resuming their journey. Okay, and what we are showing you right now on the screens are the images of that bus, that ill-fated bus that came under attack, the tragic incident that had taken place. And this is the bus that was not registered with the Amarnath Shrine Board. It did not even have the police escort that was supposed to be there. It was not part of the convoy in the first place. It had a punctured tire, and it had to stop for some time, and it was delayed. And the attack that was made on this bus that was carrying the Amarnath pilgrims was preceded by 2 strikes that took place at a police bunker at Botengo and a police picket near Kanabal. And that's when these terrorists, they attacked that ill-fated bus that you're getting to see on your screens right now.